I'm going to take a wild guess and assume you want to pay off your mortgage because you'll sleep better. It's not a financial thing, guys. I've never had a client come to me and say, Ari, oh my gosh, you have no idea how excited I am. My portfolio just went up by $35,000. I'm going to throw a party with my friends. No, you go, well, I'm glad my portfolio went up in value. I'm happy the investing strategy is working well, but you don't throw a party. Do you guys, I wish I could show clips of my clients' shoulders dropping when I say, go pay off your mortgage. They're like, oh, thank God. I wish you were going to say that. The fact I can pay off my mortgage, it's one less thing to think about. I finally feel truly debt-free. I've been saying that we have no debt except our mortgage for a long time, and now I can truly actually say it. Oh my gosh, we feel this weight off our shoulders. We're sleeping better, and now we're able to have more energy, and you can't even quantify that. So the reason I'm telling you this is I'm going to show you a financial reason to not pay off your mortgage, and I'm not saying you should do it. There are certain things that you certainly should optimize. My nickname is literally optimized at the company. They're like, we know Ari's weekend wasn't fine. It was optimized. Because most people say, how was your weekend? Yeah, it was fine. They're like, we know his was optimized. So I let them make fun of me for it. But my point here is there are certain things that you don't want to optimize. And I'm going to show you an example of that today. And then you can make the decision for yourself of what you want to do. My name is Ari. I am a CFP, a certified financial planner. And that is not why you should listen to me. There are so many doctors that I bet you would never want to touch your body. I'm grateful for doctors because I had a surgeon who put my hip back together where I can play soccer and I feel great. But there's other surgeons that I would never want to touch my body. So the reason I say that is don't listen to this because I'm a CFP. Hopefully the style in which I present resonates. And if you do enjoy it, I appreciate you watching my videos. I am also the Chief Growth Officer at Root and host of the Early Retirement Podcast. Okay, so let's meet the couple that we're talking about today. So check this out. Heather and Don, 60 years old. You can see they've got $2.7 million, about $100,000 in the bank, $2 million. You can see it's in 401ks, both of their 401ks, all pre-tax. That's important. They own a home worth $800,000 and a loan of, meaning a mortgage, of $245,000. So I'm going to need you to pretend that I've already spoken to Heather and Don, and I can tell you how the conversation went. Hey, guys, so are you thinking about paying off your mortgage? What do you think? They go, we really would like to retire, but we don't want to retire until our mortgage is paid off. But we also know that if we just take a ton of money, we're going to have to pay a ton of taxes to go pay off the mortgage. So that doesn't really make a ton of sense. And, we were late to getting that superhero account you talk about. So we fall right in that bucket of your clients that are qualified rich cash poor, meaning the majority of their money is tied up in pre-tax assets like this. But we're struggling because we do want to retire. So they're wondering, can we retire without paying off the mortgage? And the answer was a resounding yes. Look at this. So if I show them their financial plan, their immediate goals, so once again, they're 60, their immediate goals were, should we work till 65 and 67, spend $5,000 a month, but they'd like to do more. So I said, okay, guys, pretend you're just done. You're done now. And they're like, really? Like, we didn't mean like now. And I'm like, I'm not saying you have to stop working, but I'm going to show you what if I said you're not allowed to keep working. They want to support a child with a wedding and they want to buy a new car. They're not very bougie people, but they'd rather stop working, if that makes sense, rather than spend more money. One of my common questions for people is I will say, would you rather keep working so that you can spend $10,000 a month in retirement? Would you rather stop working today and you're spending $6,000 for the rest of your life? And I can see by the way people think about it, what they're actually feeling. And I can see when a spouse is like, we'd rather stop working today, right, honey? Where it's very clear, another spouse might be like, to be honest, I don't really mind my job. I'd rather work longer, right? So we can spend $30,000 a month. Like you can see different reactions, which is funny. Now, if we look at someone's plan like this, it's going to look crazy. So check out my screen. You're like, whoa, what the heck am I looking at? $5.5 million few dollars. This person running out of money at 74? Yes. And we were playing around with the scenario where if they retired at 60 and spent $15,000 a month when they would run out of money. They're like, we just want to see for fun. But what if it was $5,000 a month? $5,000 a month, that's what they're spending. Could they retire at 60? Meaning, could they and still be okay? Well, they'd be more than okay. If they retired now, you could see at 100 years old, they have $5.5 million. They would be fine. This is with them not paying off the mortgage. So If they don't pay off the mortgage, they're going to be in a fine spot. Now, their mortgage rate is like 3.75%. So what does conventional math say? Conventional math says, okay, historically, the S&P 500 does 10% per year. In retirement, you don't want, likely, based off your situation, it does depend, because we have clients who have 100% equities. I put out a video of why you don't need bonds ever, and it depends, obviously, on your situation, but there are cases where it does apply. But let's just take an average retiree. They're probably banking on 6-7% growth. I got choked up about just thinking about those growth rates, guys. 6% growth, 7%. Let's just say 6%. So what's going to be smarter financially? Would it be smarter for them to pay the minimum to the mortgage, 3.75%, and invest the rest at 6%? Or would it be smarter for them to say, we're going to just pay the mortgage outright and be done with it? The smarter thing financially is the former. Pay the minimum, invest the rest, and get 6%. If I could pay 3% and invest and get 6%, that's good. But that's not going to make them sleep better at night. And are they going to be okay either way? They will. And how good does it feel? One, you don't have the mortgage anymore. That's one big expense going away, which now means maybe you're spending that more on travel or worrying less about healthcare. You see more, you look at your portfolio and you don't go like, oh, our expenses, yeah, it's $5,000 a month, but we're also spending $3,500 on that mortgage, so it's really like $8,500 plus taxes. Plus, we didn't talk about healthcare before Medicare kicks in, so it starts to add up, and that's where people go, yeah, I'm not going to retire. It's too much. Don't cheat yourself. Don't fall subject to that. What you can do is you can pay off the mortgage, and you can see there will be a big tax implication if you do so. You want to see how big of an impact it makes? Check this out. So here's what they're on track for. Once again, retire at 60, spend $5,000 a month, pay mortgage in full. If they pay their mortgage in full, think about it like this. All they've got is their 401ks. Not all they've got, like it's not a lot. They have a lot of money, okay? But it's all in a pre-tax account. You get a deduction when you put money in, it grows, tax deferred, and when you take the money out, you have to pay taxes on it. So they're going to have to pay a lot of taxes if they want to pay off that mortgage in full. And in their case, they couldn't wait to do it. And let me show you why. They wanted to quantify it in their heads. They're like, all right, we get your example of 6% and 3%, and that we should just pay the minimum and invest the rest because we're probably going to do better than 6%. But we're just going to sleep better with that mortgage gone. And I said, okay, guys, how much is your mortgage today? And they're like, it was actually funny. I remember they're like $243,517. I'm like, okay, so based off the way you guys said that, you really want to pay off that mortgage because you know it to a T. So $245,000. We're going to see what happens. Ready? Enter. Oh, the dreaded enter. Oh my gosh, 952,000 fewer dollars. What is happening? This is the danger of looking too much into opportunity cost, because what you can see here is we retire, boom, big drop. You see this drop here? Boom, that big drop is eventually saying if you were to do this drop and you pay $245,000 outright from your 401k, like let's pretend you live in California, you could be in 40-50% taxes, okay? So you might have to take $500,000. Now, it's not going to come to exactly that. I'm just giving you an example. But pretend you just pay off the mortgage in full. If you have a superhero account and it's worth $300,000, its value is $300,000. Pretend you had bought Apple stock for $250 and now it's worth $300. You have a $50,000 gain on that. But $250 is just your own money that you put in. If you have that and you just go pay off the mortgage, okay, well, there's not a tax implication. You're using money that's after tax. They don't have after-tax money. They've got their bank account that they don't want to touch, and then they have their 401ks. So paying off the mortgage just doesn't feel good. But they're looking at this going, okay, we see it's probably not the smartest financial decision on paper, but over time, yeah, if we didn't do it, maybe we'd have about $1 million more dollars, but we're going to sleep better. And look, we're still going to have $4.5 million at 100. So yeah, it's not 5.5, but we're okay. So then I have other clients that will say like, look, I just want to invest and do the right thing. And if I'm educated properly, I'll do the right thing. I'm not going to do it blindly, but I don't want to make a mistake here. So we could say, don't pay off the mortgage in full and assume you invest for more of a growth strategy. How much could be at the end there? And so rather than having $4.5 million, you can see you might have $6.5 million. That's a $2 million difference. If you invest well and you're not uncomfortable by having a mortgage in retirement. I'm not saying you should do it, but it's something you should consider for yourself. So hopefully this video was helpful seeing these insights. You can use the tool that I was using today in this video. So check it out in the description of this episode. And if there's something that you go, wow, that clicked, the Social Security, the healthcare, the insurance, the whatever, all your videos, I want a holistic financial strategy. That is why I make all these videos. So people like you can watch and go, this feels different. I want this type of guidance. I encourage you to reach out. If you go to our website, rootfinancial.com, in the upper right, you'll see a little button that says click here to get started. And if you click on that, you'll be prompted to answer a few questions, and then we'll be talking very soon. Thanks, guys.